drowning in reports, long YouTube videos, and massive PDFs? If you're a researcher or creator, you've heard of NotebookLM, but you're likely using it like a basic chatbot. Ever since the Gemini 3.0 Pro upgrade, it's evolved. It's no longer a reading tool. It's a digital brain grounded only in your data. In this video, I'm going to reveal 6 pro tips that will save you a ton of time and change your research game forever. But first, check your engine. NotebookLM now has 4 tiers. Standard, powerful, and free. Plus and Pro for power users, marketers, and daily AI workers. Ultra, the beast mode. Zero lag even with thousands of pages. But here's the truth. Even if you're just on the standard plan, you're likely still leaving 90% of its power on the table. You see, the real bottleneck isn't your subscription. It's your workflow. That's exactly why these 6 pro tips are game changers. So let's dive into cheat code number 1. Start your NotebookLM workflow inside Gemini. Most people still use the old workflow. They open NotebookLM, dump a bunch of random PDFs, and figure out the plan later. That's the fastest way to create a chaotic mess. Real research doesn't start with documents. It starts with questions. You need to know the problem, the angles, and what's missing before you upload. That's where Gemini becomes insanely useful. Open Gemini first. On the left sidebar, click Notebooks and create a new one. First step, give it a real project name. I'll call mine Content Research AI Agents. Trust me, a specific name saves you so much confusion weeks later. Now, here is the power move. Before uploading a single source, start talking to Gemini. I use a MEGAPROMPT that makes the notebook aware of its own purpose. Quick tip, want the exact MEGAPROMPTs I use? Drop your email in the comments and I'll send the full list to your inbox. This prompt forces NotebookLM to do 3 things. Suggest 5 to 7 research angles, give you search queries to find better data, tell you which sources to avoid so you don't clutter your brain. Once the notebook knows its purpose, I don't ask for a summary. I ask for strategy. I'll ask, what are the top 3 questions my audience will ask about AI agents? And start exploring the problem step by step by attaching my data. And the best part? When you finally open this inside NotebookLM, every single conversation is already there. By the way, if you're trying to stay ahead in AI without spending hours filtering through random AI news every day, definitely check out AI Fire. We break down AI tools, autonomous workflows, AI agents, productivity systems, and the biggest AI updates actually worth paying attention to. So if you're serious about learning AI properly, that's a great place to start. Next, cheat code number 2 is simple. We should use extensions. And honestly, once you start doing this, you'll never want to manually copy and paste research ever again. There are 2 Chrome extensions that save an insane amount of time. The first one is YouTube to NotebookLM. Just install it from the Chrome Web Store, and once it's added, every time you open a YouTube video, you'll see a NotebookLM button directly on the page. So now, instead of manually copying transcripts or links, I can just click the button, choose my notebook, and instantly send the video into my research system. And this becomes ridiculously useful when you're researching through long podcasts, interviews, or educational videos. Now the second extension is NotebookLM Web Importer. This one is for articles, reports, blogs, or basically anything on the web. Same idea. Once it's installed, I can open any article, click the extension, choose my notebook, and instantly add the page as a source. So now, while researching, I'm building my notebook in real time. Every useful video, article, or report goes directly into the project without breaking my workflow. And honestly, this is one of the fastest ways to turn NotebookLM into a true research operating system, instead of just a place where you dump PDFs. And tips number 3 is run a source audit in NotebookLM. Before importing any source, I always do a quick quality check. I ask, is it recent? Is it credible? Does it fit my angle? Or is it just AI-generated garbage? If it fails too, I skip it. But here's the real pro move. I let NotebookLM audit itself. Paste a prompt asking the AI to score your sources on relevance and depth. You can have this prompt by comment your email as before. And here's a small trick that makes a huge difference. At the end of the prompt, I always add the line, "Do not be polite." Without this, the AI tends to play nice and act like every source is okay. But once you remove that politeness filter, NotebookLM becomes brutally honest. It will tell you exactly which sources are weak, outdated, or just wasting space in your notebook. Now you have a lethal, focused knowledge base instead of a digital landfill. Next, cheat code number 4. All right. Cheat code number 4 is something most people completely ignore. Customizing how NotebookLM thinks and responds. Because if you leave everything on the default settings, the AI usually gets very safe, generic answers. They're not bad, but they don't feel particularly insightful either. So what I usually do is open the configure panel and customize the role manually. Then I'll give NotebookLM a very specific role depending on the project. For example, I might say, act like an experienced research consultant, focus on identifying patterns, extracting important insights, and giving practical next steps instead of generic summaries. And I want the response to be shorter. That one change alone makes a huge difference. Notice how it's not just summarizing the data anymore, it's making actual strategic decisions. That's the power of changing the persona. The AI starts thinking less like a chatbot and more like an actual specialist reviewing your research. I also usually adjust the response depth depending on the task. If I'm exploring something complex, I'll increase the detail level so it pulls more context from the sources. But if I'm just brainstorming quickly, I'll keep the answers shorter and faster. So honestly, with just a few small adjustments, NotebookLM becomes dramatically more powerful. For cheat code number 5, we're going to pressure test the research itself before we start doing any serious work with it. Because one of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming their sources are already complete and reliable. So before I start writing, analyzing, or making content, I'll run a few prompts to test the quality of the notebook. First, I'll ask NotebookLM to find contradictions between the sources. Show me areas where the sources have conflicting conclusions, assumptions, or interpretations. And instantly, the AI starts surfacing inconsistencies that would be really easy to miss manually. Then I'll test for missing coverage. I'll ask, what important parts of this topic are still underexplored or missing from the notebook? And this is super useful because now the AI starts identifying gaps before I build conclusions on incomplete research. And finally, I'll push it even further by asking for perspectives that probably aren't represented in the notebook yet. For example, what viewpoints, criticisms, or alternative angles are likely absent from these sources? Instead of just repeating what's inside the notebook, it's actually identifying perspectives that are completely missing from the research. For example, it points out things like AI agent failures, security risks, automation saturation, and even audience fatigue toward AI-generated content. And honestly, these are things most creators wouldn't even think about including. So now, instead of building content from a one-sided perspective, I can instantly spot blind spots, weaknesses, and alternative angles that make the final research much stronger. For the final cheat code, I'll show you one of the smartest ways to manage large research projects inside NotebookLM. Because once you start doing serious research, you'll hit the source limit surprisingly fast, especially on the standard plan. So instead of endlessly adding more files, what I like to do is compress multiple sources into a single master source. Here's how it works. I'll select a few related sources and ask NotebookLM to combine them into one structured synthesis covering key insights, major themes, important takeaways, and source references. With this prompt on the screen, then once the response is generated, I'll save it as a note. After that, I can click the three dots and convert that note directly into a new source. So now, instead of keeping 5 separate documents, I have one clean consolidated source that still contains the important information and references from all the originals. And this is incredibly useful because it frees up notebook space, reduces clutter, improves focus, and makes future outputs much cleaner. So instead of creating a giant chaotic notebook, you slowly build a compressed AI-ready knowledge base over time. And honestly, once you stop treating NotebookLM like a simple PDF chatbot and start using it like a real AI research system, the difference is massive. Especially now, when AI workflows are becoming one of the biggest advantages for creators, students, researchers, and businesses. And one more thing, if you want all the prompts I used in this video, including the research prompts, audit prompts, deep read prompts, and workflow templates, just comment your email down below, and I'll send the full prompt pack directly to you. And if you want more content about AI agents automation systems, AI productivity workflows, and the future of AI tools, definitely check out AI Fire. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment which cheat code was your favorite. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.